Hey, how you doing? This is Nasir Harris from the Nightly News and our podcast, and I'm here with Paul Miller, our professor for humanities, and we're here to talk about his workshop, Digital Media and the College Students. How you doing today, Paul?
I'm doing very good. It's the tables have turned here. Usually I'm in the host chair. Today I'm in the interview chair, so we'll see how this turns out.
Yeah, I like the host chair a little bit better than interview chair.
Well, of course.
For the first time, though. Well, first of all, I want to get into it. I want to ask you, how can people get in contact with you through digital media or social media?
Well, I'm a very large advocate of LinkedIn. In fact, some of what the workshop we'll talk about is sort of give you an introduction to LinkedIn. I know that so often we on Facebook and Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, we like to use it in our personal lives. LinkedIn allows you to basically talk about what you're doing professionally. Talk about what you're doing in college. Nasir, you should have a LinkedIn page that says that you're, part of the Nightly News podcast committee.
Right.
And that's when you get out, that allows an extra layer for employers to look at your accomplishments. So I encourage all students to follow me on LinkedIn. That's where we're going to probably be able to converse back and forth. Typically, and this is just my own personal preference, typically don't become friends with people from Central Penn. I personally feel that Facebook is more for friends and family. Right. Not to say I'm not friends with some of my colleagues, and not to say that there are a few of them are Facebook friends, but I typically like to keep it professional. So I would absolutely suggest LinkedIn.
Okay.
On Twitter, I am at Solutions for ADV. I used to work for a company called Solutions for Advertising, and I thought that stuck with me because I like to think that I'm a solution for small businesses to advertise, and I share many different things social media related. So you certainly can follow me there on Twitter or LinkedIn.
Okay, no problem. And I'm just going to give you guys a note that Paul Miller will be having this workshop Tuesday, May 3rd from 4 to 5. You know which room it's going to be in?
We're going to be in ATEC 202, right inside the front door. So I know that, for example, I have some online students who have never been to campus, and that might be making the trek up for that. And I've got I'm inviting people from the community to come as well. Okay. So it's literally right inside the front door of ATEC. You just walk in and hang a left, and I'm going to be the second room on the left-hand side.
Okay, no problem. Now we're going to get into the first question for you, Paul. Why has digital media become so important in today's world?
This kind of is I'll try to be brief, but it's a little bit of a long-winded answer.
Yeah.
Where I got into broadcasting, I actually when I went to Slippery Rock University, I worked for the campus radio station there for 4 years. And it was my passion. It was what I wanted to do. And being on air was a desire and goal that I had. And I went on and I interned and then worked for WLER 97.7 in Butler, Pennsylvania. Mm-hmm. And I worked there for a period of time. But for one, there's not a lot of money in radio unless you're a Howard Stern type or unless you're a Rush Limbaugh type who can get into syndication. On a local level, it's very difficult to make money.
Right.
Even back then. The opportunities for being on air weren't there for me. And what I tried to do is I tried to look ahead and say, what are some things that are coming up in communications? And this is where I took a look at social media. When I first got involved with social media, I was back doing my master's work, and actually I was on MySpace. If anyone remembers MySpace.
I remember MySpace.
Of course. And we all, and you and I just did it right here. We say the word MySpace and everyone chuckles because it was very rudimentary. And obviously Facebook has come so far. But without MySpace, I don't know that Facebook exists. Right. Without MySpace, I don't know that Twitter exists in the fashion that it does today. Right. And we have to look at MySpace as being sort of the innovator.
The first one.
To answer your question directly, I believe that there's been a revolution in communication. Right. And the further and further we get down the line, the more social media is going to become just second nature in how we communicate, the same way writing letters used to be, the same way the telephone used to be.
Right.
We're going away from that, and it's something that's not going to go away. Just to finish up to answering this question, one of the things I hear a lot when I talk about social media in class is, oh, this is just a fad. Facebook will go away, Twitter will go away, because MySpace did. Everybody assumes, and MySpace does still exist, by the way. It's
Right.
not in its original form, but it does still exist.
Completely different.
Yeah. The thing is that this is not a fad. This is how people are communicating now. This is how people are always going to communicate. Now, the channels might change.
Right.
Maybe Facebook does go out of business. Maybe Twitter does go out of business. But there will always be a new social network popping up.
Right.
So, and really, I think that a lot of people, when they think social media, they think Facebook. Social media is not Facebook. Facebook is a social media channel. Those channels may come and go. Social media will not.
Right. Okay. Well, our next question would be, what are the benefits for college students that are well skilled in digital media?
Oh man, I could go on for days about this. I'll basically try to, just for brevity's sake, I'll try to talk about two specific things.
Right.
I alluded to one of them, and that's LinkedIn. I have spoken with employers and even read articles nationally that basically say if you do not have a LinkedIn profile, that corporations and businesses now are not even looking at students without a LinkedIn profile.
Right.
LinkedIn has sort of shoehorned its way into the job-seeking process. And by that I mean, back even 15 years ago, we would look for jobs in the newspaper. We would send them, maybe even email them a resume, and they would make their determination that way.
Right.
Now that's not the case. We're applying for jobs online. We're expected to have a strong digital presence, especially for communication students.
Right.
We have to have a very strong online presence. And LinkedIn is just an absolute necessity. It affords you the opportunity to put more about yourself, put what you're doing volunteering, put what you're doing, what clubs and what groups you're associated with. And that gives you an opportunity to, showcase yourself. That's what it's all about. It allows the employer to know more about you. Second thing is blogging. And, these are actually future workshops that I'm going to be doing. The spring is going to be the digital media and the college student. Summer, we're going to have LinkedIn. The time is now. And in the fall, we're going to do how to start a blog and how to build your following, which I've been doing for years as well. So maybe we can talk about that in a future podcast.
Okay. So blogging. So you said LinkedIn and blogging are two major things.
In my personal opinion, if students want to further their job potential, they must be on LinkedIn and have a 100% completed profile page, and they may consider blogging even monthly to talk about their passion and their knowledge of their subject.
Right. There's a lot of new websites now, like BuzzFeed and HuffPost are moving towards blogging type reporting and stuff like that online.
Absolutely. And so that's another interesting thing that you bring up. Even our own Nightly News Media Club is basically what's considered a blog.
Right.
And so now we're sort of transforming, in the way social media has transformed communications, blogging has transformed journalism.
Right.
So now some more citizen blogging is coming to be. So it's a very fascinating time for students, but only if they take advantage of it.
Okay. So what type of employers you say will these type of skills be more beneficial in?
Everyone. Now, typically, obviously, communications students are going to need to have a very, very strong social media presence because that might be what they're expected to do when they get out into the field. So if somebody isn't acting professionally on Twitter, no one's going to let you operate their Twitter feed.
Right.
And that's one of the things. I actually get a lot of people asking me. I don't post much on Twitter. I don't post much on Facebook. And I get a lot of questions. Professor Miller, you're the social media guru, if you will, but I never see you post anything. There's a reason for that. I work with a lot of small businesses in the area, and I am their voice. I'm their online voice. So I probably tweet 10, 15 times a day, just not on my own channel. The reason that is because these individuals look to me for expertise. So if I go on there and say, start saying my own opinions, and they may not care for that, that could cost me a position. Same thing here. I'm expected to be a professional, and I just don't like to put out. I think, frankly, too many individuals right now are on social media too much, giving too much information about themselves, and are saying negative things. And that's what this digital media and the college student's all about. What to say and how to say it on social media to use it as a benefit and not the reason why you don't get a position.
Right. That segues into my next question, what I'm talking about. We have, like, the social media explosion happened to a generation of young people who wasn't really prepared for it. Because I know when I was in middle school and high school, we just had laptops, and that was the biggest thing. And the greatest thing in the world was if you could Bluetooth your laptop to somebody else and play like Halo Online or something like that. And then within the 10 years, you got smartphones and cell phones. So do you think that we lose a little bit of interpersonal skills from social media being so prevalent, especially with young people nowadays?
Well, there's two ways to look at this. The short answer is yes. I think that, it's funny when you see, and I see this occasionally, you go out to dinner and there's a young gentleman and a young lady at the table.
Right.
They're not talking to each other. They're on their phones.
And they on a date.
And so, yes, I do think some interpersonal skills have been lost.
Right.
But in a larger sense, I believe that this is just the way it is. And we're all moving toward maybe losing a lot of communication skills, not even just interpersonal skills, small group skills. I teach a lot of public speaking, oral communications classes. Right. I see some of these skills somewhat deteriorating somewhat. Right. And really what it is just anxiety. Because we're so used to communicating with each other through phones,
right.
I think that there's additional anxiety when it comes to getting up in front and talking to a small group of people or even a large group of people.
Okay, what things should students watch out for when dealing with social media?
Well, there's many things. For one, you have got to be respectful.
Right.
If you're going on there and using foul language, if you're going on there and saying that you hate your job, if you're going on there and say that you hate your professor, those things are going to they're going to hurt you. What a lot of people don't understand about social media is it doesn't go away.
Right.
I mean, even if you delete a comment or a tweet or a Facebook post, that can still be there. Someone could have taken a screenshot.
Right.
There's all kinds of things that can go into that. And Nasir, this is how these jobs are determining who is getting these positions. They're going on your social media. If you do not keep it private, they can see everything you've done. Even profile pictures. People will judge you if you have a red Solo cup in your hand, even if there's no alcohol in it at all, and even if you're of age.
Right.
Employers will misinterpret what they see on social media, and you don't have a chance to defend yourself. And that's what's kind of unfortunate. So you have to have a level of professionalism on social media even while you're in school, because that's basically how you're going to be evaluated by these employers.
Right. So this has come to my final question is, how has digital media changed the college experience per se?
Well, there's a couple of ways to look at this, too. Let's just look at it at the positive side. I mean, social media is a way for people to get involved and for people to be knowledgeable about what's going on here. I mean, just let's take a look at Central Penn College. All you have to do is follow the student activities page.
Right.
One of the most common things I hear in class is, there's nothing to do here at Central Penn. Well, yes, there is. There's things to do every single day. I mean,
you just don't pay attention to that.
Or maybe even know where to look.
Right.
So and it gives you more of an opportunity with social media to have outreach with alumni, to reach out directly to students that live here on campus, and to maybe even have an opportunity for online students to be involved in some clubs and activities here on campus, even from a long distance. So obviously, social media at the college level is certainly going to be all about, how can we get involved? How can I'll give you a perfect example. Dr. Scalfaro, obviously the men's basketball team, Central Penn Knights, were in the finals of the USCAA tournament.
Right.
And we had Coach Baker on the podcast previously. They were able, through social media, to round up as many people that were here on campus and got them all on a bus and said, let's go support our Knights. And we traveled, 50, 60 people out there.
Right.
So it was pretty amazing that just from a day turnaround,
Right.
from the Knights winning Friday at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock to Saturday morning, a large brigade of Central Penn Knights heading out to support the team. I mean, I don't think in previous years I'd have been available or even possible without social media.
Right. Well, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you giving me this interview. And again, everyone, go see Paul Miller May 3rd at ATEC 202, Tuesday from 4 to 5.
Tuesday, May 3rd from 4 to 5. Yep.
Tuesday, May 3rd.
And I'm so excited. I like to do these series of workshops, so hopefully May 3rd works for you. I'd love for you to be there, but keep an eye out for some of my future workshops that I'm going to do, and I'm sure that we'll sit down and do it for you.
No problem. Thank you.